Hello everyone, Jeb Whiskers here, and welcome back to another book review. Today I'll be reviewing none other than From Sugar and Strawberries to Salt and Lime by Arion Bolden. And this is actually from one of my followers on Twitter. So shout outs. And this is his first ever poetry collection. Um, Now to be honest, even though I shout him out, honestly this isn't the best book I've read this year. It's not the best. Not the best. Not the best. Now, I'll get into the pros. I'm keeping my voice down because people are asleep. So, sorry about that, but people are asleep. I'm up, so I'm trying my best not to disturb peace. But no, back to the book. Some pros of this book. I love how the poems, they're formatted in a way like they're quotes. You know how like a quote, it has like words first, then it has like, of course, it says exactly who said it. It's kind of format like that, but instead of it being like a name, it's the title of the poem. So that's quite unique. I'm very clever, very unique. And I love also how it tackles themes of family trauma and just a dysfunctional family relationship, and also it tackles the feelings of falling in and out of love. Those are the strongest parts of this book. And I do love how the author uses gods like, Eros, or I don't want to just say Eros. And they tend to personify those gods as of, beings of, like, of course, Eros is the god of love. And it's just, he uses the gods to personify what he's going through in his life as well. Those are the pros. Now the cons. Now it's one, well, not really cons, just one big con. Well, there's one big huge con. This is another con, but I'll get to that later. One huge con of the book is the the gods. Now I did say it was a pro. I said it was a pro about the gods. It's a pro is how creative it is, how complex and creative it is to use the gods as a way to convey your emotions and to give it like a more of like a little bit of a narrative story. But that's the pro. That's the pro. If you're following me. But the con of it is that it overstays its welcome. It's very long winded, very long winded, and also it gets very confusing at times. Cause there's like a few poems where it's like I can put the book down. There's a few times there's a poem where it's like Eros is like, oh yeah, I'm touching him, I'm kissing him, and it's like, what is actually happening? What is actually going on? And there was another, it was like a goddess, I forgot her name, Hethra? And he was like, oh, I betrayed Hethra, and she's supposed to be of karma, but she's like, oh, I betrayed Hethra. And it's like, I don't know what that's supposed to be a metaphor for, but definitely with the gods, those were the longest poems, but they're very long-winded and very, very confusing. I had to put the book down and be like, what am I actually reading right now? Like, what's actually going on? And it's just really shame because the book started off very strong with the poems about childhood trauma, dysfunction, being gay, growing up in a Latino family, falling in love with someone, falling out of love with someone. They're a narcissist. They didn't even love you like that. For real, for real. Ooh, those were the most powerful poems and very, very poignant and powerful and just very raw. But I feel like with the gods, and I feel like that is like kind of the main theme because even the back says like don't mess with the gods and whatnot, and even kind of it looks like the cover looks like Mount Olympus and whatnot, but it's like it takes a to me in my opinion takes a good chunk of the book, but not in a good way. Like I feel like if it were more devised better, where it's not confusing and it's not long winded. I don't know. Like I said, I gave it a pro earlier for being very original, very complex, but it's like the con is like with that complexity is very confusing, very like, what now? And it just kept going and going. And I'm like, okay, okay. But also another con is towards the end of the book, Act 4, it was some bits and pieces of like Act 1 in it. And it kind of threw me off. And I don't know if this was a creative choice for the author to like just add that in there just as a full circle moment. I know that's for sure for like the last few pieces, but it's like pieces of the book. But I know definitely for like one, it was like one poem that was just like in the midst of the gods talk, and it's like that was so jarring. It's like that should be like in Act One, not Act Four. But no, for the last few poems for sure is like for like a full circle moment talking about his sister for sure. But yeah, overall this book is not, it's not a bad book. It's just a very complex book. And I already said it on in my community post and on Twitter. But I'll say it right here. I give it a 5 out of 10. It's a 5 out of 10. It's not bad, but it could have been better. It could have been better. But I definitely want to see more of Aaron's work. I want to see more of Aaron's work in the future. For sure, for sure. Don't let this review stop you from not creating. Like, no, definitely create more. Just, improve. There's definitely room for improvement. So yeah, if you're very interested with Arion Bolden's work, his first poetry collection, definitely go out and buy it. Out now. You can purchase it at Barnes Noble. I'll try to put have a link. Oh, I'm stumbling. I'll try to put a link in the description so where you can get the book if you're interested, of course. Um, of reading it. Like I said, with the poems eat, and it's quite raw. It's like whoa, whoa. But like I said, like towards like the very half, I mean the last half is like, ooh, it's getting. But if you're very interested, definitely go read his work. Like I said, 5 out of 10. But yeah, that's the book review of the day. I hope y'all enjoyed this review, and I shall see y'all in the next one. Bye.